Hey guys, welcome back to the Ghost and Friends YouTube channel. Here to talk some Texas football with my guys Gage Sheets, NBA Hornboy. Gentlemen, we doing all right?
Yep.
Doing good.
We're good and locked in, they said. We're going to take our best chance at predicting some Texas offensive stats. A lot of talk about what this offense will look like, who gets the touches in the backfield, who maybe is primary wide receiver, what is Jack Injury's role in this offense. You could say the same thing for several different players. So we're going to take our best shot at projecting some stats here, and then it'll be fun to come back in the end of the year, take a look at how we did, see how close we got or how badly we missed. So with that being said, NBA Hornboy, I'm going to ask you, which offensive player would you like to project stats for first?
I'm going to go Wingo. I think when you put that prompt up the other day, I think he has 62 receptions. Leading the offense with receptions. I think he has 1,024 yards, and I'm going to go with 10 touchdowns.
He's got 10 touchdowns, you said?
Yeah, he said 10.
Okay, so 10 touchdowns, 124 yards there. I think Hornboy's frozen up on us, but hopefully he'll be back. I will comment and say real quickly, I did say that, we will be posting the Ryan Wingo tweets, the best tweets from that thread that I posted for you YouTubers that don't know. I asked for everybody on the Twitter timeline to project the Ryan Wingo thread, so that's what he is referencing. I was not able to successfully upload those tweets. They will be up at some point this week, as well as the Arch Manning ones. We're not done with Texas content for the week. It is coming. So apologies on that. But real quick, we'll get into the chat. Thank you for being here, guys. Matt, where we are, back up, brother. Back-to-back nights with you. Thanks for being here. Chris Bennett, we're in the house. And there's no slander of the Wi-Fi, man. I've had issues on my end before. Give Hornboy some slack. But thanks for being here, brother. Yeah, if y'all throw a quick like on the video, even if you're on Twitter, hop over to YouTube, throw a quick like. It helps a lot. Okay. But Hornboy, you said 10 touchdowns, 71 catches. Or no, how many catches did you say? An amount of catches, or you said 1,070 yards or something like that? We can't hear you, brother. Can you hear him, Gage?
Mm-mm.
I said 62 receptions, 1,024 yards.
Okay, 62 catches, 1,024 yards, 10 touchdowns. If that happened, that would be a breakout year for Ryan Wingo. A lot of people expect that, not just Texas fans, but across the country. It's time for Ryan to go ahead and to take that step, baby. We need that. Gage, what do you have for Mr. Ryan Wingo doing in 2025 for Texas?
Well, obviously, he's going to have a way bigger role in the offense with the holes that have been left, and he's probably talent and experience-wise probably going to be the best receiver on our roster. Obviously, you got DeAndre Moore too. I think the big question is definitely going to be the Jack Injuries question: is how many touches is he going to get, right? Which I think is going to be a lot. Obviously, we've seen in the last couple of years how vital the tight end has been in this offense. But I'll probably double almost everything he did from last year. He had 29 catches last year. So we'll give him about 60 catches, 1,000 yards, close to 1,000 yards sitting around there. And then I'll give him 8 touchdowns.
8 touchdowns. I like that. Definitely. I'd consider still a breakout. Not quite as big as NBA Hornboys. Chris Bennett says Wingo can see now. Yeah, that should help, especially when the balls are coming from Arch Manning, who has a touch more zip on it than what Quinn Ewers did. Ryan Wingo, man, for me, let's check the notes here. I've got 71 catches, 880 yards, 11 touchdowns. I really wanted to pick Ryan to get to 1,000 yards. He very well could do so. Has some of the best get-off speed, and potential in the, off the line of scrimmage and all of college football. I think we'll see Arch successfully connect with Ryan Wingo on a few deep balls this season, hopefully more than a few. But for me, I'm just not going to go higher than 880 just because I think there are so many different people in the offense that are going to have a hand in what this team looks like. Like you've mentioned, Jack Injuries. Obviously, you've got a DeAndre Moore. You've got multiple running backs that are able to come out of the backfield, catch the football. I would love for you gentlemen to be right. I want Ryan Wingo to go north of 1,000 yards. And it's just fun to say when you have a 1,000-yard receiver. Absolutely. Got a shout-out here from Mr. Mike Ross. Shouting out homie Clint. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for being here, brother. Good luck to the Tigers. I am not a believer in Brian Kelly, but I don't want you to judge me based off that, I love LSU football. Y'all are going to get a coach you deserve at some point, but hey, even Brian Kelly could maybe win with this talent, man. Y'all got lots of it. All right, so NBA horn boy of the three of us has Ryan Wingo probably having the biggest season. I think you said 10 tutties, over 1,000 yards. Gage had 8 tutties, 1,000 yards. I had 880 and 11 touchdowns. So it's going to be fun to see what Ryan Wingo does for Texas, what he looks like with Arch Manning. Reports are good. A lot of positives coming out of camp about that connection, man. So that's what we needed and wanted to hear. Love to hear it. All right, Gage, I'm gonna let you choose number 2. Who are we talking about offensively? What stats are we projecting?
Well, we'll just go ahead and start with Arch, if you don't mind, because that one was the one I was the most prepared for. So I think Arch may have a little bit of issues at the beginning. I'm an Arch believer. I'm pretty much full on the train at this point. I have his numbers written down here. I got him going for 3,300 passing yards, 72% completion rate, and 30 passing touchdowns. I only have him throwing 6 interceptions. I think a lot of them are going to come at the beginning of the year. But I think that later in the year, I think the turnover rate's going to drop a lot. And then I've also got him having about 500 rushing yards and 6 rushing touchdowns.
500 rushing yards. I mean, that would be a big help to the offense. Obviously, a lot more than we're getting out of the quarterback position in years past, many years past. I like it, man. Brother Clint, talking Arch Manning. What are we looking at stats wise?
Manning, I'm gonna have him passing yards wise around probably honestly 3,900. I would say. Okay. I have him getting 35 passing touchdowns, and then rushing wise, I want to say about maybe 400 yards rushing. I don't know how much he's going to be rushing. I don't know how much he's going to be wanting to take hits like that. Rushing touchdowns, I think probably about 7 to 8 around that range, and then interceptions, I think he'll have 8. I think at the start he'll have a couple of interceptions, maybe like 2 multi-interception games. But I think once the season goes on, he starts to lock in and starts to learn what throws to try and make, what not to make.
Yeah, I mean, reports are, and we've seen it out of Arch himself, is that he does want to be aggressive. He wants to make the play. Eric Nallian of Inside Texas literally talking about that today. So the gunslinger mentality might be there a little bit, and so I agree with both of you. I think we see some early mistakes out of Arch. Hopefully he doesn't. Maybe early bad choices. So I guess you could call those mistakes. Just hopefully we're not paying for those bad choices via interceptions, especially here in Columbus very, very soon. I have Arch Manning 3,616 yards. I had to have 16 to end it. I have 35 touchdowns. And on the ground, I have 460 yards. I think he will be a pretty big help on the ground game, and definitely don't rule out the possibility of him breaking off another long run or two. It's got great speed, man, and Texas is going to have a lot of weapons to worry about on the offense. Could easily see a situation where we were facing some man coverage, cover 2, whatever it may be, and a lot of backs get turned and 16 gets loose. 2 big runs right there. You're already looking at 100, 150 yards. I think he goes north of 400. I have 7 touchdowns there. I think you see the bulk of those inside the red zone, him being an added benefit, or his legs being an added benefit to a red zone offense that hasn't exactly wowed anybody here in the last couple of seasons. So very, very excited to see Arch, man, as far as in the ground game. Interceptions-wise, I've got him a little more than you guys. I've got 9 interceptions. I think we do see a couple of, as you both said, early mistakes. And then throughout the year, we're playing a couple of defenses with a lot of experience, a lot of guys returning, and it's just going to be it's not going to be an easy road for a young quarterback. And again, he's going to do a lot of great things, but I think it's inevitable the guy's going to throw a few picks. Hopefully, more around the number that Gage has than what I have. But hey, Gmo, really appreciate you being here, man. That's really, really cool of you. Saw you checking in on Dave and Randy earlier. As always, man, you've been with me since literally the very beginning, brother. We're probably one of my first couple hundred followers on Twitter 4 or 5 years back. So cool how far we've come, man. Thanks for being here. It means a lot. All right, man. I'm gonna pick one this time, and I'm gonna pick the guy that I'm most excited to see in this offense out of everybody, and that's Big 88, Jack Hendries. I so pumped to see the transfer from Cal. I think that he does a lot of things very, very well, similar to what Gunnar Helm look like, but just maybe a tick better, man. And y'all know how I feel about Gunnar Helm, one of my favorite guys to ever suit up and burn orange. So Jack Hendricks, 67 catches, 725 yards, 8 touchdowns. I think that due to the fact that we have a DeAndre Moore, Ryan Wingo, and a slew of other weapons here, he's a guy that could go out and have an 800, 900-yard season if we needed him to. If you go back and watch Cal, they're throwing the ball to Big Jack in some crazy coverages at times, trying to fit into some really tight spots. Arch Manning very likely won't have to do that, but Jack is awesome. He's going to be great. I think Texas fans will become very, very infatuated with Jack Hendricks very early in his time here in Austin. You two gentlemen, whoever wants it, what do you have for Big Jack?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. I think Jack's going to make a huge difference in this offense. I think we're kind of on the same page with our little infatuation with him in this offense and the difference that he's going to make. So last year he went for over 600 yards at Cal. I don't think he's going to see that much of a jump purely because of how many weapons we have in the offense and how many different things we like to do. But I do have Jack going for about 60 catches, about 700 yards around where you're at. And then I have him going for about 6 touchdowns, which is almost triple of what he had last year. So, I really like Jack's chances to see an increase, but I'm not sure how high of an increase it will be from last year just because we have so many other weapons to go to.
Agreed. How about you, Clint? What you got, brother?
I'm with both of y'all. I'm really excited for Jack Hendricks to get in this offense. I agree with you, Goes, also that he's probably going to be a bit better than Gunnar Helm, not only receiving wise, but I think also just in his blocking ability. For him, I have 51 receptions. I have more yards than you. I have 8. He's going to be our second leading receiver. And I have about 7 touchdowns for him. I think just with Sark's offense, he really likes to implement the tight end. We saw that with Jatavion Sanders and Gunnar Helm both. And I just think with the talent that he has and the offense that he's playing in, I think he's going to really light it up. And I think he's going to have a really good year.
I'm with you, man. I think he's going to be the best possession tight end Texas has had. Again, I've said this a couple times, but since David Thomas was walking around campus. Well said by you, man. I'm hoping that, again, you're right there, that he has more on that 800-yard mark. I would love for him to go have the best season a Texas tight end has ever had, and I think he has that upside. I truly do. Seems that, again, another guy that Arch Manning has really developed a bit of a connection with there at camp. And God, I'm tired of saying camp. Just 10 more days, and we don't have to utter that, that phrase again for 11 months. It's going to be glorious. All right, we're going back to you, Clint. Wait, Gage. Gage, you gave us Jack Hendricks. Going back to you, Clint. Who are we doing next on the offensive side of the ball, man?
I think I'm going to take it to running back with this one. Guy we didn't see last year, unfortunately, such CJ Baxter. I actually have him being our leading running back this year. I think that he's going to fall just short of 1,000 yards. I think with the combination that we're going to have with Baxter, Wisner, and Clark, and possibly Gibson, I think that I don't know if we see anyone get over 1,000. I think we just have a big running back by committee group. I have him going for 921 rushing yards, and then I have him going for 8 rushing touchdowns. Receiving wise, I didn't look too much into that. I think maybe around like 300 receiving yards. I'm not sure, honestly. Maybe
I would love 300.
Three receiving touchdowns.
If he had 300, I think that'd be stealing for Cedric. So I don't really. If I look at him as a receiver in that backfield, it doesn't even probably would be my third option. But no, I like it, man. If you're right on Cedric Baxter, 921 yards, that's a major comeback season, man. Would be a huge boost to the offense. I need to see that, man. Would love it so much. Talk to me, Gage. What you got for Cedric Baxter?
Yeah, I'm a huge Cedric Baxter guy. I hope he proves me wrong. I do think that he's going to have a really good comeback year off of the injury, but I just think over the season it's tough to come back from something like that and play this type of schedule, especially with the backfield that we have and the rotation we can give to keep guys fresh. I have him probably going for about 600 rushing yards. I'll give him 4 touchdowns, and then receiving, maybe 100 yards, somewhere around there, and a couple touchdowns. But I'm not even huge on the touchdowns. I don't even know if he'll have a touchdown this year, just because I don't think he's going to be the primary receiving back out of the backfield. It'll be interesting to see third downs. I don't really know. I haven't been able to keep up with Camper if anybody said anything on what those packages have looked like. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what back comes out in that position. But I just think the rotation and coming off the injury, you really want to keep him fresh. And obviously, there's also the possibility of him having a ramp up year and then coming back next year as well. And that being his breakout year where he's a little bit more healthy and stuff like that. I think he's going to have a good year. It's going to play a huge role in this offense. It's going to be gigantic for him. And there's going to be plays that he makes that's going to be huge for us. But I'm not sure if he's going to be the same guy we saw flashes of originally. I think we'll see flashes of it, but I think really next year is probably going to be the bigger year for him.
Yeah, I think I agree, man. As far as next year being the bigger year for him, I also have him just under actually 600 yards. I got him for 580. I've got him for 5 touchdowns. He probably goes well over the 5 touchdowns, to be honest, even if he only has 580. But there's just, again, like Clint said, there's so many backs that Texas, in my opinion, will use in 2025. The season is incredibly long now, playing until the end of January. You don't want to ride one guy. I heard on the Red River North segment earlier, Dave Myrick and Randy Heights talking OU football, and DeMarco Murray made a comment to Sooner Media that he does not like a running back by platoon system, that he wants a bell cow back. And to me, I mean, immediately my first take is like, what the hell are we talking about here? Because you have a back that he's I'm not saying he's made of glass, but injuries has been a big part of his story coming from Cal to Oklahoma now. And I hope that Jaden Knott stays healthy. Like, trust me, I want Oklahoma full strength. I want the guy to be able to play. But to me, when you're playing potentially 15, 16 games here, you want everybody as fresh for as long as you can. And so because of that, I have a little bit smaller usage for Cedric Baxter in the regular season. 5 touchdowns receiving. I'd say I like around 150 yards. I think we'll give him the ball sometimes. It's just a matter of how much he's really getting off as far on the screen games. It's really where he's best, obviously. I don't send him on a ton of routes downfield. Real quick, Matt, I guess if you're going to ask this, I have to address it. I'm just going to be honest with you, man. The Rangers suck. We're terrible.
Yeah,
couldn't hit sand if we fell off a camel, water if we fell out of a boat. Stink out loud, man. It's really, really hard to watch. I've not given up entirely, but like I know that nothing good comes from this. Like, they're not going to make the playoffs. We'll watch because we love it, but just let your expectations die because they're dead as hell. They're dead. Someone has to get 1,000. I don't have anyone having 1,000. I don't. I think that we'll have, again, as Clint said, too many backs that have a big hand in this offense and have the ability to be productive. And so I think they'll all demand, getting on the field. If he had 650 yards, yeah, I'd agree he would be gone. And so if if Clint's right about it, this might be the last year we see Cedric Baxter and burn orange, and I will be rooting for Clint to be right. That would be really cool. Cedric had that big of a season because it means he's doing some really special things. All right, Gage, who are we moving on to? We'll do a few more here.
We'll stay in the running back room. Let's do Trey Wisner. I going over a 12-game stretch obviously is what we're kind of talking about. I agree. I don't see 1,000-yard back, but I do think that there is a chance, obviously, with the extended season, maybe playing an SEC championship game, going to the playoffs, which is what pushed Trey over last year, over the 1,000-yard rushing season. So I think Trey has another great year. I think here's the thing with running backs and predicting these running back line. That unfortunately, an injury is probably coming, and I hope that's not true. I hope everybody stays completely healthy, but that's football, right? Football, people get hurt, and so it's kind of hard to predict because you could say, hey, one guy may only go for 600 yards, and then another guy gets hurt, and then now all of a sudden that guy has to get double the amount of work that he was getting, right? But I do think that Trey Wisner, I think he's proven. I think he's stronger. I think that he rushes probably for 800 yards this year. I think there's a possibility for him to get over 1,000 yards if we have a longer extended season. But yeah, I think 800 yards is probably about right for him. I think that he's going to have more touchdowns than he did last year, though. I think he's going to have like 7 or 8 touchdowns throughout the regular season. So I'm high on Trey. I like the way he runs. He doesn't get tired very easily, so I'm super excited to see a full off season of work after what he showed last year, coming into this year. So, and I do think there's a chance he gets over 1,000 if we have obviously the extended playoff run and we count those stats as well.
Of course. So in that scenario, you definitely have Trey Wisner being running back one as far as or being our leading rusher rather.
Yeah, I think especially the beginning of the year. I think the first 5-6 games, he's definitely going to be the leading rusher. I think obviously as the year gets later and later, like I said, bang up injuries, anything, something like that, you're going to have other guys come in. I think Cedric Baxter is going to get healthier. I think there's other guys behind him that are going to get more touches because they're going to be able to make plays. But I do think that he's going to be our main guy for most of the year.
We lost our friend. I hope he comes back. I'm going to agree with you. I've got Trey Wisner going for 760. I think he is Texas's leading rusher. I think that the work that he's put in the offseason, combined with the experience that he picked up, the trust from the coaching staff in Trey Wisner, and then I think in the beginning of the season we'll lean more so on him than a Cedric Baxter, than a Christian Clark, that we are working back into rotation. Welcome back, brother. That we're working back into rotation, So I have Trey with 760 yards. I have him with 8 touchdowns, and I think he'll have another 250 yards, in the receiving game. So Trey is a guy that I was talking to my brother earlier, and for me, he belongs in, my Roshan Johnson, my Sam Ellinger, my club of guys who just absolutely love Texas football.
Yeah,
love the program, love competing for us. They're going to lay out every single bit of what they have out on the football field. And so I'm just not going to doubt Trey, man. I know that there are limitations as far as what he can do as a running back compared to some of the other running backs that we've seen come through Texas. And I don't mean that as a disrespect to the kid. It's a matter of fact, because we put out all pro, all American, Hall of Fame, we've had as good of running game history as anybody. So It's not a knock on Trey. It's just, but I'm telling you now, I'm not going to doubt him. I believe the guy has a big year, another big year, and is a big part of what Texas does. And then eventually, when we get to the playoffs, I think he's a big part of that run as well. And forever, we'll have Trey Wisner and what he did at Kyle Field. I mean, that was incredibly cool. Watch him control that game, suck the life out of the Aggie, or the 12th man, rather. So, again, shout out Trey Wisner. Welcome back, Clint. You doing okay down there?
I think he's frozen again.
He's frozen again. Okay, sorry, brother, man. We're gonna move on here. We'll do 2 more. Okay. I'll let you pick first. Okay, do you want to do the running back I have written down, or do you want to do the receiver I have written down? And you already know who the running back's going to be now that.
Let's go wide receiver you have written down, and we'll go
all right.
back.
I've got Dre Moore. All right, and I think Dre Moore is Texas's leading receiver in 2025. I think the rapport between Arch and Dre Manning is Arch and Dre Moore is very, very strong. We saw that last year in the Mississippi State game. It's just one example, but I think it's a very real connection. Obviously, we've heard Arch and Wingo are trying to work that connection into existence, and it seems to be trending that way rather. But for me, it's already there with DeAndre Moore. I know this is a guy that's going to bust his butt as hard as anybody in the program. DeAndre Moore is going to have a huge year. I've got 68 catches for Dre. I've got 1,074 yards. So less catches than Ryan Wingo, but I think he'll have obviously more yards per catch. I have him going over the 1,000 mark, and 13 touchdowns for DeAndre Moore. I think he'll have a big regular season. And this is a guy that I'm not sitting here saying Bolitnikoff or anything like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if his numbers were even a little bit bigger, because I genuinely think him and Arch have a real deal connection. Arch trusts the guy a lot. We've seen them connect downfield, and so I'm excited for it, brother. But what do you have for Dre Moore?
Yeah, I think honestly, now that I'm looking back on it, maybe the yardage I probably went a little over on right wing, but now that I'm starting to do calculations in my head, yardage. But I do think DeAndre Moore. I agree with you. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to lead in our receptions category. I probably got him going for about 65 to 70. I mean, he had a good year last year, right? He had 40 catches, almost 500 yards. He had 7 touchdowns, which is extremely impressive. But I think that's where you're going to really see the leap for him. Is I think you're going to see get him into 10 touchdowns, 11 touchdowns. I think he's going to have a really good touchdown year. I've only got him going for like 750 to 800 yard range on those 65 catches. So I think he's going to have a really, really good year. But I think DeAndre Moore is going to be the player. Like he's going to have the big moments, like kind of like Matthew Golden did last year. I think he's gonna be the clutch guy on the third down that we need. Right? He's gonna be the go-to guy for Arch. I agree with you on the connection part where he's gonna be like, hey, third down and 6, pivotal point of the game. Who am I going to? I'm going to Demo. I think that's the connection that they built. And I think that they really trust each other in that sense. So I agree with you on that sense. I do believe Ryan's probably a little bit more athletic, and that's probably why I have him going a little bit more yardage wise. But I think DeAndre Moore is going to have those red zone touches where Arch trusts him, in the third down situations where Arch trusts him, and I think he's going to have a great year. I think it's going to definitely feel like he's our automatic guy for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely, Ryan Wingo, it's a better NFL prospect, between he and DeAndre Moore. But again, not in the league yet. That relationship with him and Manning, just to me, it seems to be pretty special. I feel good about it. Clint, what do you have for DeAndre Moore 2025? We've lost him again. All right, so we've covered that. We're going to get Clint out of here. We'll let him enjoy the rest of his night. So I'm going to go through a couple of predictions, and we'll just do over under because I didn't tell you about these guys. I have Christian Clark at 435 yards and 6 touchdowns. I think second half of the season we see Christian have an impact on this offense. I think we'll see him around the goal line some, and I will make the prediction that he has one 100-yard game at some point for this offense. The bulk of it will come in the second half. He'll probably have 80 yards in the second half. He'll have a 100-yard game. And we'll be looking really good as far as my praise and love for Christian Clark here in the preseason. Over under 435 yards for Christian Clark in the offense.
If it was anybody else that was talking to me about Christian Clark, I probably would have been like, you know what, maybe this guy's just a sicko. I'm gonna go under. But because it's you and I trust you, I'm gonna take the over. I do think later on in the year he's gonna. Like I said, I just think between bang up injuries and stuff like that, like it's just so tough to keep everybody healthy every single game. I think that Christian Clark's a dude, and I think that sooner or later he's going to be able to get the touches that he needs to get above that number. So I like that number. I think it's a good number. I'll take the over.
I like it, man. I really do like that touchdown number. Again, big fan of him, especially late in the year for Texas, second half of the year playoff run. It'd be lovely to see Christian Clark out there because that means that he's earned the trust of Steve Sarkisian and Chad Scott, and I think that might be the biggest hurdle he has to seeing the field for Texas. And it's not that the coaches don't trust him; it's just they have been around Cedric Baxter and Travion Wisner for a long time. They've seen what they can do on the football field, and they've developed trust there. So that's all I'm saying. One last one: Parker Livingstone over under 550 receiving yards. A lot of hype for Parker.
Yeah,
a lot of hype. He's going to see a lot more reps than people think. But what are your thoughts there? Over under 550 for Parker Livingstone. I know you said you haven't kept up with camp too much.
Yeah, I've heard that he's having a great camp. I've heard that he's having a great camp. 550, I do feel like is a little steep. I don't know. I feel like that's a little steep. I'll probably go under. I don't know how much under. That it would be under 550. I wouldn't be surprised if he broke it. Like, again, you have an injury, you have something else, he has to step up and play. But I feel like 550 is a lot for a first year guy. And I think that he'll probably go under that. But yeah, that's a steep hill. It's a big ask for him to go over 550, I think.
You start to look at, the math that of my 3,616 passing yards. And I did go through and try to decide who gets what portion of that pie. But then when the parts we don't really know, I feel confident that Jack Andrews has north of 600 yards. Feel great that Ryan Wingo goes north of 800, that DeAndre Moore does the same. But then the unknown is a Parker Livingstone. What does Evan Mosley look like in this offense? There's definitely some unknowns, man. So it's almost that time, guys. We've got less than 10 days now. Texas at Ohio State. They're on the 30th, big noon kickoff, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I'm honestly cool with the early kickoff, less rowdy of a crowd, but it's still going to be ruckus in Columbus. Yeah. Gage, have you solidified tickets to the game? Have you decided if you are going?
Yes, I did get a ticket to the game, and I will be there. So I'm super excited. I got tickets to what I believe will be a Texas section as well, up in 8C. So if anybody's in Columbus, hit me up on Twitter. Like, let's do it, dude. I'm super pumped. I've heard about people having pretty terrible experiences going to Columbus in the past. So yeah, let's have a great experience. Let's go up there. Let's win a football game, and I'm going to be in Columbus for less than 24 hours, and I hope on going away a happy man.
Yeah, short and sweet, man. That's the way to do it. I feel like
Yeah.
anybody from Ann Arbor, Michigan would tell you that's the blueprint to a
Yeah.
Columbus college game day experience. Good for you, buddy. Excited. I'm excited for college football in general, guys. We've got this weekend. We are 72 hours, less than that. In 72 hours, we'll be reviewing and recapping games.
Yeah.
So it is here. You got Farmageddon, K-State, Iowa State playing in Ireland. You got that at 11 o'clock Saturday morning Central Time. Yep, guys, thank y'all for being here. Like the video. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Sub to the channel. All those fun things. Really appreciate it, man. Thank y'all for all the support and have a great night.